Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back. Thanks for your patience with all of these candle reviews from today. If you missed it, I did finally upload my thoughts on a couple of the new spring fragrances from Kringle a little bit earlier today. I reviewed the Country Candle Coconut and Blueberry Tart, as well as the regular soy fragrance in Sea Breeze. Comes in the 2-wick tumbler or the 3-wick format. So if you missed either of those videos and you are curious about my thoughts there, I will link those in the description box down below. I normally would say I would happily link this candle for you in the description box as well. However, Rosé All Day from Homeworx is already sold out at Homeworx.Shop. Clearly, I waited a little bit too long to get around to this one. So I do not know if there are like a set of 2 of these, or actually QVC has been selling some single candles, but the price point is kind of nuts unless you're getting them on clearance, so don't recommend. But I'm not sure if this particular fragrance was also slated to be released at some other retailers like QVC or potentially even at Ulta at some point later on this summer. That could be a thing for sure. I will say, I feel like I have seen a little bit of a slowdown in the Homeworx candles, at least like the haul pictures, slowing down of people's purchases from places like TJ Maxx, Marshall's Home Goods. A lot of Homeworx candles last year were showing up there, and there were some pretty good deals because I feel like the price point at those places was $16.99 for the 4 wicks. So significantly less than even most sale prices that Homeworx.Shop offers. So I still don't quite understand that particular partnership, and I don't know if that is moving forward in the future. Like I said, I haven't seen a lot of people mentioning that they are finding the new spring stuff at their local stores. So if you happen to run across any, definitely let me know. But yeah, in my area, the trickle of the Homeworx candles was pretty slow. My friend Fiona, who is also here on Instagram, she, funny story, like Fiona and I live like 5 minutes from each other, and we met on Instagram. But yeah, Fiona, she had a little bit of luck sourcing the Homeworx candles at our local like discount stores, but I never really did. But also I really don't frequent those stores terribly often these days. I've been sticking around the house a little bit more. So anyway, let's go ahead and discuss Rosé All Day, because even though she is currently sold out, Homeworx has been quite frequently bringing candles back either as re-releases or repackages. And I believe this one was completely new. I had certainly never had this one in the past, and I don't think that I've had anything that has smelled quite like this. Now, I will say this is not a crazy like exotic scent. Like, this is almost in a way very kind of basic. It's straightforward. I think the description makes it sound a lot fancier than what it actually is. I was happy to learn that it is not a boozy scent at all. That might be a disappointment to some of you who were maybe expecting to get a candle that smells like a beautiful rosé or something, but to me, this just comes across as kind of a nice, simple, fruity blend. So let's go ahead and read through the fragrance notes, and then we'll talk about the overall burn performance of this one. I will give you guys an overhead shot, but fair warning, I just lit this right before starting the video. And hold on one second, Alf is like intent on knocking the camera over for some reason. Okay, so our fragrance notes here. So we have, why is, oh my iPad. Rosé Sangria, Sweet Sunberry, Sparkling Orange, and Peach Blossom. Okay, so from that description, like, I was expecting very much like probably a slightly boozy, maybe winey kind of undertone, but I don't really get that from this at all. Certainly from the looks of the label, that is implied, but no. There's also no like effervescence to this. A lot of the rosés that I like to drink have a little bit of like an effervescence to them. Not like super straight up sparkling wine, but they do have, you know, some bubbles to them. Like nothing about this screams any type of rosé, sparkling or not, to me. But what I do get from this that I do enjoy is that orange note. It's a really nice, sweet, juicy, like navel orange, mixed with a little bit of peach. I get some peach in here as well. And then also just that touch of like that peach blossom as well. I'm not really familiar with sunberry, so I'm not necessarily gonna like comment on that. But to me, this is mostly a orange peach, tiny touch of floral type of scent. I actually really like it. Just the fragrance itself, I think, is great. I would totally actually repurchase this fragrance, but it isn't anything that is super exotic or, I don't know, something that you maybe haven't smelled something similar to at some point. I will say, I wish that this candle gave me a little bit of a better performance in terms of strength and throw. I am now officially at the halfway point with this one, and it's never really kicked in for me to the point where I could smell it like outside of the room where I was burning it. And it's lived most of its life here in my like front living room. As you can see, the color palette of this particular label ties in fabulously with all of the blush and pink that I have in my room here, but I cannot smell this candle outside of this room here, and not even much in the entryway. The strength, like within the room itself, I think is decent. I certainly walk into this formal living room thinking like, oh, there's definitely a candle going. Like it smells like a nice light, peachy orange type concoction. It smells good. In fact, I think this would probably be the type of candle that I would give as a gift for someone, maybe, if I knew that they were not super crazy about really strong fragrances, or if they were kind of prone to headaches from strong smells. But obviously I would make sure that that person would enjoy a candle. I'm not just going around and like gifting people candles, even though they want nothing to do with them. I try to get to know my friends and see what their likes and dislikes are. So if I have a sense of someone liking a fragrance that's maybe a little bit more subtle, like this is the type of fragrance that I would give them, at least based on the performance of what I have here. So let me put some numbers on the burn performance here in terms of strength and throw. Throw, I'm gonna give, oh gosh, I feel like I'm being not necessarily generous. I don't know. Like it just doesn't escape this room at all. So I'm going to give the throw like a 2. Like I can smell it in this area in here, but it does not travel out into the entryway. And typically, like you guys can see this opening here, like you would think with like that it would sort of waft into that entryway. She just really doesn't. She kind of stays put where she's at. So again, I think there's a time and place for stuff like that too. But also there's a lot of people where this candle would never have a time or a place in their home because it is not a powerhouse. It's not going to, you know, the neighbors aren't going to smell this candle when you like this one. So probably mostly safe for the people who tend to like their fragrances on like the softer end of the spectrum. The strength, I'm going to give that about a 4 because like I said, when I walk in, I know it's going, it is lovely. The aroma is quite nice. I will say now that I'm at the halfway point, I'm a little concerned about the wicks becoming really short. It's been quite a long time since I have had a problem with the Homeworx wicks. I know some other people have had some bad luck with that. I've never had problems with the wicks. Strength and throw, yes. And occasionally, like there's a wick that, you know, if I leave the candle going too long and the wax pool reaches the bottom and the wick clip isn't like exactly attached properly, yes, I will have one that like, you know, keels over. But for the most part, like I don't allow that to happen. So, yeah, like no problems with the wicks, but they are getting quite short. Like for example, before this burn, I did not trim the wicks at all. So I'm also starting to see a little bit more of like that darkening of the wax. And it's like carbon residue, not sooting. Like it just makes the wax go from kind of like this beautiful blushy color to more of like a blush with, I don't know, some gray floating through it. Not quite as pretty, but it's not affecting the smell of the candle at this point. So still okay in my book, but let's go ahead and do an overhead shot here and then we'll be able to wrap it up. All right, up we go. You can see, like I said, I just lit it, but yeah, I did not trim these wicks at all. And they're quite short after this last burn from yesterday. Also with yesterday's burn, I noticed that she didn't want to pull out completely over here. And I think there's a little area over here where it didn't pull out quite completely. I do think that's going to correct itself. And I'm actually thinking about, before blowing this one out, just taking a cotton ball after, well, do blow them out. I'm going to blow these wicks out and I'm going to take a cotton ball and just take a little bit of that wax out. That should probably correct it. But again, I wish I didn't have to do that. It's just a little bit more work than I care for candle wise. But also it's a nice scent and I want to finish it, so I'm going to do it. But yeah, I'm definitely a little disappointed in this one. I just wish that there was a lot more strength and throw to it. Just based off of my own personal preferences, like that's what I'm looking for. But I'd like the scent to come back. I don't know, like I said, if this is going to be restocked at Homeworx.Shop. What I have found is that usually Homeworx seems to get in like all of like a season's worth of candles like right away to their different like distribution centers, and then there's not necessarily more coming. The factory that Homeworx uses is based out of Vietnam, so I think that probably makes it a little bit more difficult to order more if something is just randomly really popular. Part of me does wish that they had either their own company where they made their own candles, kind of like Kringle does, or that they used a factory that was maybe a little bit closer to the US, or I know a lot of you are hoping for within the US, but I think that might give them a little bit more flexibility on ordering some extras. But I just don't know that with the factory being that far away, that is really a possibility. I assume that they put their order in probably either at the start of the year for all of these fragrances, or maybe like twice a year. And then they just say go, and the factory produces and then, you know, ships them out, and then they make their way over here. So anyway, I'm not sure if we're going to see more of it, is the moral of that story. But keep your eye out on QVC. Who knows? Maybe these were slated to be released as a set of 2 on there. Maybe these are meant to pop up at Nordstrom Rack. Also, quick heads up, and this was something that I saw in the Homeworx Facebook group. Michaels. Michaels is now featuring the Homeworx candles on their website. Like, totally didn't see that one coming. They are being shipped directly from Homeworx. So I think this is just a partnership to increase the exposure, I'm assuming, of the brand. But it's not, I don't think we're going to walk into a Michaels and see like a display of Homeworx candles. Don't quote me on that, because I mean, Homeworx went into a lot of stores that I didn't ever imagine that they would. So could be a possibility to find them in store like we do at Ulta. But I imagine the in-store selection might be kind of small. I don't know. I just don't see Michaels making like this huge like wall of Homeworx candles. It'd be great. But I don't see that happening. So anyway, what are your thoughts on Rosé All Day if you were able to pick it up before it sold out? Have you burned it? What's your experience there? Leave it down below in the comments. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch today. Like I said, if you're interested in the other reviews, I'll link them in the description box. I appreciate you being here. If you're new, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.